Welcome to the illegally occupied sovereign nation of Hawaii. Who is the invaders? The United States.
With tourism rates to Hawaii being at an all-time high, it only feels fit to have this discussion. So let's get into it. Hey friends! Hey, hi! If you're new here, welcome. Following me for some time, you know that I'm actually going to be living in Hawaii for the next couple months. A huge priority of mine when I came out here was to educate myself, and I actually got the opportunity of going on the most amazing trip to the Big Island of Hawaii with Give Volunteers. So throughout this video I'm going to be kind of including bits and pieces from that 8-day trip that I went on. I learned so much and I'm seriously so thankful for the opportunity. I cannot rave to you about Give Volunteers enough. To give you a tiny bit of background on them before we start the video, they're all about breaking that tourist stereotype. They work with local nonprofits and local people in the community to really immerse you in the culture. I really like that they do that because it allows you to learn about the place that you're traveling to from the people that know it best.
Aloha po. Ovau o Joshua, lanakila o kainai kapono mengwel. I've been an educator in my community for many years. I love my culture, I love my heritage. It is my neapunahele, my favorite, my passion to perpetuate the language, the traditions, and also to continue the fight to protect our existence here in Hawaii.
The most amazing organization. Everyone there has the biggest heart. I'm going to link some information about them in the description of this video in case you want to learn more. I highly recommend going on one of their trips. It was life-changing. Alright, well, let's get started.
Welcome you to open your eyes and your minds and your ears a little bit more deeper. Coming to Hawaii, you are coming in through someone else's interpretation of this land, someone else's interpretation of our culture. It's not really till you get here, and if you actually seek out the natives and the locals and take the time to research, you really start to realize how much bullshit is right in front of you.
Actually, before we even get started with how to conduct yourself when you come here, there's some very important things that you need to be made aware of first. First thing is that you need to understand that Hawaiians have a really deep respect and passion for the land. That passion of theirs is shown in songs, hula, stories, even some of their farming practices.
Who are the gods? You see this rain? That's one of our gods. The soil beneath your feet is our gods. The mountaintops, the rivers, the streams, the forests, the birds, the plants, those are our gods. We are kin to all the life around us because without them we're really nothing. So in total understanding of that, the root of Hawaiian culture is very aina based, land based. These fish, these animals, these plants, these mountains, all this stuff, they were all here before us.
I hope you feel moved when you hear that. When I heard that in person, I was like, oh my god, why can't the rest of the world think this way? That's one of the many reasons I really respect this culture so much. I think the rest of the world should be taking notes, to be honest, because we are all a little bit disconnected. But do you see how disrespectful it would be to come to these islands and just run amok, leaving your trash all over the place, messing with the wildlife, which by the way is illegal, geotagging certain areas and posting them all over socials, which results in even more people being in certain sacred areas. You get the point. We're relocating for a second because my eyes were burning. But anyways, another thing you need to be aware of is the history of Hawaii is pretty fucked up. I don't know how else to put it other than that.
Hawaiians are the top of the list of all the worst statistics. From education to methamphetamines to homelessness. Not to mention there's only just about 500,000 Hawaiians left.
Back in the late 1700s, early 1800s time, there was 1 million people on the Big Island alone. To give you a short summary on what happened, this man's named Captain Cook came over here by sailboat, got here and quickly realized how freaking amazing the Hawaiian Islands were. He told his buddies to come, they came and brought with them a bunch of diseases. At the time, the Hawaiians had never been exposed to other diseases. They had really strong immune systems and they had only lived on these islands. So something as simple as the common cold just absolutely decimated the population. It wasn't just the common cold, I think it was like cholera, leprosy, is that leprosy? Smallpox, you get the point. Mind you, they had been on the islands for thousands of years at this time, working in perfect harmony with each other and the land. Within 100 years of Captain Cook's arrival, 90% of the population was wiped out. That's colonization for you. So as the native population began dwindling, what do you know? More greedy bastards came and saw it as an opportunity to really seize Hawaii for themselves.
They really want to be able to own these lands. Under Hawaiian law, there was no ownership of land. How do you own your mother?
So they forced the queen at gunpoint to give Hawaii over as a protectorate to the US. And I'm skipping over a lot because I can't possibly cover everything, and there's people that are way more knowledgeable in this. I'm actually going to link a video in the description that kind of breaks down the whole history of Hawaii if you want to learn about it a little more. But that's just a very brief history.
Set up a whole different house in someone else's house. And then you blame them or say that it's their fault that they're not holding themselves up. You done built your house in the middle of my house and now you're going to change all the rules. That's Hawaii to us. We cannot continue just to think we're just going to move forward and not recognize the stains of our past.
And the last thing I need to make you aware of is that these islands are crowded as fuck. I said it earlier in this video, but tourism rates to Hawaii are at an all-time high, and more people from the mainland are moving here. Yes, I am guilty of this myself because I'm here for a few months. Roast me, call me a hypocrite for making this video. Honestly, ever since I was a little girl, I really knew that I belonged here. I finally got to a position in my life where I felt like I was able to move out of my hometown and start this next chapter of my life. I'm also in the unique position where I have a following and I'm able to start sharing some of the things that I'm learning about Hawaii with people that may not be exposed to it elsewhere. So I hope you still are able to hear my words and not shut me out. I'm not claiming I'm an expert on anything. I'm actually very transparent that I'm still learning about all of this. But the issue with people being here is it is jacking up land prices for the native Hawaiians and local Hawaiians.
Most of us, we don't really like tourists around here. And it's not everybody's fault, it's just that we have way damn too much. When we are completely outnumbered in our own homeland by foreigners all the time, when we are made to feel like the outsiders in our own communities and in our own areas, when our tax monies and everything is put out there to support tourism industries and not take care of our own needs as a community, you tend to kind of understand why we might be a little bitter.
You could argue, oh, but tourism stimulates the Hawaiian economy. No. Like, out of all of the money that you spend here, spending money on hotels, on food, on probably gift shops or whatever, out of all of that money, 10% of that money is getting back to the local population. 10%. So it's just something to be mindful of when you're coming here and you're staying in those hotels on the strips of Waikiki, for example. It's literally just putting more money in the rich man's pocket. My leader on the Give trip talked about voting with your dollar. And I really like that concept because it's all about using your money to support the things that you want to see more of, like supporting local farmers or local businesses, or even finding places to stay that are run by local people in the community. Basically just avoiding some of that corporate BS that you don't really want to see more of. Give yourself grace because I know it's way easier said than done, and it's like so much more convenient to take the other option sometimes, but just something to be more mindful of. Always try to seek opportunities to give back to the locals and kind of give money to that population that is not getting nearly enough money for a place that is so exploited and making so much money. Now that you're aware of all that shit, let's get into how you can conduct yourself in a way that is respectful and responsible while being here. Number 1, respect the locals. I really like this quote that I heard: respect the roots, then respect the planet. How are you going to come here and truly appreciate the full scope of Hawaii if you're not even appreciating the people that were here before you on these lands? Aloha and mahalo go a really long way. Bonus points if you learn more words than that. Share a smile, be respectful. Next point. Ugh, this lighting. What is this lighting? Second thing is you should be researching local laws of what tourists can and can't do while being here. So off the top of my head, some things that are prohibited are messing with the wildlife, taking any of the natural resources like lava rocks or shells, using sunscreen that isn't reef safe. I'm sure there's more. Again, do your own research. Final thing is to leave no trace. I hope this is the self-explanatory one. If you haven't been taught this since like grade school, I don't know what to tell you. If you're still leaving trash places, reflect. Why do you do that? But yeah, leave it how you found it. Pick up after yourself. Pick up after people that didn't. Just be courteous to the sacred land that you're standing on, please. Hopefully this gave you a different perspective on some things. Please do your own research and learn from the native Hawaiians because all their pleas need to be heard. I'm really thankful that I had the opportunity to go on this amazing trip with Give volunteers and learn a little bit more about this place that I get to call home for the next couple months. Just to go back to raving about Give, I do not know many organizations that are set up in a way that promotes global citizenship. Not only are they immersing you in the culture and making you work hard, but you're also playing hard. You're having fun, you're getting your hands dirty, you're sharing a smile with such beautiful people. They help you have a deeper understanding and compassion for everything on this planet. So again, I'm gonna link stuff about them in the description of this video. Can't rave to you about them enough. but they're just, I cannot wait to go on more trips with them. Seriously, so amazing. But mahalo for hearing my words and for being here. I'll see you next week.